All right, y'all. Hey, what's up, good people? I'm QC. Welcome to a special edition of the Talking and Grubbing Live Nightly Digital Show. How's everybody doing on this Sunday? Hope everybody's doing good. I'm doing good. Now, I was live earlier for the Super Bowl, but I had a big power outage in my apartment building that abruptly ended the show, and it didn't come back on till late in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. So I just want to come here. Well, before I start the show, I just want to apologize to everyone who tuned in. Definitely sorry for the inconvenience. I know a lot of y'all were looking forward to the show. I was looking forward to doing the show for y'all. So once again, I definitely apologize. And I just want to thank y'all for tuning in. Well, tuning in to the Super Bowl halftime show. I greatly appreciate it. But the Seattle Seahawks are Super Bowl champions once again. This is their first Super Bowl title in 12 years. So congratulations to them and their fan base. They have been waiting for it ever since that 2013 season. And they finally got the feeling again. And just like the first Super Bowl, it was done with their defense. And they were very dominant against Drake May. And they did a great job of shutting down this great Patriots offense, as they had 6 sacks, a fumble recovery, 2 interceptions, including the defensive touchdown by Devin Witherspoon that turned into a pick 6. And they also had 6 passes deflected. DeMarcus Lawrence and Leonard Williams both were rivals in the NFC East, playing in Dallas and New York, became now our Super Bowl winning teammates. They anchored this defense, but also got to give a major shout out to Jordan Love, who came up with Julian Love, my apologies, who came up with a huge interception in the second half. So did Nwosu. Hope I said his name right. If I didn't, I apologize. And my apologies for the error. It was Nwosu who came up with the pick 6, not Witherspoon. So I greatly apologize for that. But from kickoff, this Seattle defense was very dominant from start to finish. That front 7 was aggressive, punishing. They did a great job of confusing Drake May. They came at him from all kinds of directions. They ran various blitz schemes. Also, they knew when to come with the heat and apply the pressure to him. They definitely bullied this Patriots offensive line from the get-go. No matter what Drake May tried to do, he couldn't do anything against this Seattle front. They were just too aggressive. They were just always quick on the ball. And they definitely knew how to definitely pressure May, as well as contain cats like Stephon Diggs, as well as Hunter Henry. They also did a good job of shutting down the running game. Now, Travion Henderson, who was one of the runners-up of offensive rookie of the year, he had a solid game. But they definitely did a good job of containing Ramondre, Stevenson. Definitely got to give a major shout out to Mike McDonald as he called the defense. And a big congratulations to him as now he's a Super Bowl championship coach. And it's remarkable that he won the Super Bowl in his second year. As I mentioned in my live stream for the Super Bowl, he rose through the ranks in Baltimore, started out as an intern, then became defensive assistant, then a linebackers coach, then the Ravens defensive coordinator, and then he ended up getting the Seahawks job last season. And now here he is over a year later, walking away with the Lombardi and about to take it back to Seattle. Now, even though the Seahawks offense didn't do too much, they definitely did enough to win. And we got to start with Kenneth Walker, who was named Super Bowl MVP, rightfully so. The man was a beast all night long. He finished with 27 carries for 135 rushing yards, 0 rushing TDs. And also, he had the second most rushing yards in a half by a running back in the Super Bowl, as he had 94 rushing yards in the first half. The first running back to have the most yards, the first running back to have the most rushing yards in a half of a Super Bowl was Timmy Smith in, in 1988, as he had 100 plus rushing yards in the first half. But Kenneth Walker, he balled out in this Super Bowl. But matter of fact, he had balled out in the playoffs. He had some great games against the 49ers in the divisional round. And he was definitely very big against the Rams in the NFC Championship game. So definitely a big shout out to Kenneth Walker for what he did in this Super Bowl. He was the only consistent player on offense. And also, he's the first running back to win Super Bowl MVP since Terrell Davis did it in Super Bowl 32. And he did a great job of punishing a very vaunted Patriots defense. No matter what the defense threw at Walker, there was nothing they could do to stop this man. He ran like a man possessed. He ran like he was a man on a mission tonight. And he is the main reason that the Seahawks are here as Super Bowl champs. Also, got to give a big shout out to Sam Darnold as well. Congratulations to him as he finally has his Super Bowl title. He finished with 19 completions on 38 attempts. He had 200 passing yards, a touchdown, 0 interceptions, with a, excuse the typo there, but over a 74 rating. Now, the Seahawks offense definitely had its struggles in this game, and I definitely think they missed some spots, especially in the passing game. Now, of course, they lost the offensive rookie of the year in Jackson Smith-Njigba for most of the third quarter. He did come back on the field in the fourth quarter, but I do think Sam Darnold could have tried to hit more open receivers. Think he could have got Shaheed involved a little more. I think at times he tried to force feed Cooper Kupp a little too much. You know, I get Cooper Kupp's the veteran. He's been to the Super Bowl. He's a Super Bowl MVP. But definitely think the Seahawks could have scored more points if Darnold and the offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, would have opened up the playbook a little more. Now, I know they were definitely trying to make sure that Darnold didn't throw any picks, but still got to spread the wealth. Could have got Shaheed involved a little more. Could have gotten the tight end involved in a little more. Also, you could have threw a few passes to Walker because Walker has pretty good hands as a receiver. Now, the defense, got to go back to them as they were dominant. You know what? This Seahawks defense kind of puts me in the spirit of the 2000 Baltimore Ravens defense. Now, I don't definitely now it's ironic that I'm saying that because McDonald came from Baltimore, but they remind me so much of them of how physical they are. You know, they're very aggressive, nasty, mean. They always have that killer instinct, similar to what the 2000 Ravens had. Now, the Ravens defense could get away with a little more physicality back then because the rules allowed it. But in this day and age, the physicality is toned down a little bit due to some of the rule changes that favor the offense a little bit more. But they are always aggressive, especially in that front. DeMarcus Lawrence and Leonard Williams, they definitely are looking to punish you, as well as Byron Murphy, who I think is underrated, by the way. Also, they got a pretty good secondary anchored by Devin Witherspoon, who had a pretty nice game here. And it's rare to see a physical defense in today's NFL. And this Seahawks defense was very physical here tonight. They beat Drake May up. Matter of fact, even times when he got rid of the ball, he took a little bit of a beating. So definitely wanted to say that because they definitely put me in the spirit of that 2000 Ravens defense. The only difference is this Seattle's offense was way better, and Sam Darnold is definitely a better quarterback than Trent Dilfer. And this is no disrespect to Trent Dilfer, it's just facts. The 2000 Ravens relied more on the running game, and Jamal Lewis definitely punished people. Every time you handed him the rock, he definitely will punish you. Trent Dilfer, when he took over for the Ravens mid-season, he only finished with over 1,500 yards. Matter of fact, let me look up his stats and compare him to Darnold's. Okay, yep, he finished with over 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns, 11 interceptions with a 76 rating. Now let's go to Sam Darnold's stats for 2025. Okay, Darnold finished with over 4,000 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 14 interceptions with a 99.1 rating. Shoot, Trent Dilfer makes him look like an MVP candidate. All right, I see a few people in the chat. Notorious Nicky said, "Get Will Campbell off my team." I'm so yo. I mean, why you want him off your team? I mean, I don't just put it all on him for not protecting May. That was the whole offensive line's fault. They kept on they just kept on getting bullied by that Seattle front seven. They were bullying them all game long. Okay, that's just a spam commenter. But yeah, it wasn't just Will Campbell. It was that whole offensive line. They couldn't protect Drake May for nothing. Matter of fact, that offensive line wouldn't even protect you or me if we were standing back there at quarterback. Because that's how aggressive, ferocious, and physical that Seahawks defense is. And they definitely proved it here in this game. I don't care who you would have put at tackle. They were not going to stop this Seattle front. They definitely weren't going to stop the Seahawks front. I mean, when you have just some beast, well, front seven that's a beast coming at you, there's not too much that you can do. But maybe Josh McDaniel and the offensive line coach should have called more double teams on dudes like Lawrence as well as Williams, also Murphy. Definitely should have called more double teams because those three right there really put their stamp on this game and put this stamp on this Super Bowl title for the Seahawks. And Vrabel, he definitely got outcoached by McDonald. And you would think that a guy who has been coaching in the NFL for almost 10 years would not get out coached by a second-year head coach. But he ultimately did. All right, good people, I'm going to take a quick time out. I'll be right back to give you my analysis on the Patriots, where they did what they did right and what they did wrong in this Super Bowl. Well, they did more right than wrong, but I'll be back, so don't go away. All right, I'm back, good people. Now, let's go to the Patriots. Drake May, as amazing he's played all season and throughout the playoffs, he definitely did not have a great Super Bowl. He had 27 completions on 43 attempts, 295 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 37 rushing yards with a 79.1 rating. The only other bright spot on offense was Matt Collins, as he finished with 4 receptions on 8 targets, as well as 78 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. The Patriots defense tried to do all they could, but the Seahawks offense was too much for them. They had 1 sack, 0 interceptions, 0 fumble recoveries, and they had 7 pass deflections, including 3 pass deflections by Christian Gonzalez. And he was definitely trying to do his best to keep the Patriots in this game. The Patriots, they could not execute offensively. They couldn't sustain drives. They had a lot of 3 and outs. Also, it took them a while before they even got a first down, which was the 3rd quarter. They were held scoreless at halftime. Looking at Drake May, he was very intimidated by that Seahawks defense, as they were coming at him with all kind of pressures, different blitz schemes. And he didn't know how to handle it. Also, he didn't know how to adjust. Finally, when he started reading the defense better and picking it up, it was too little too late, as the Seahawks had put their stamp on this game. Yeah, you thought that they had some rallies here. Well, they made a little rally here and there with those 2 touchdowns, and the Patriots defense forced the 3 and out, and it looked like May had a pretty good drive going as they were getting in rhythm in the no huddle, but he ended up throwing that pick 6, which ultimately changed the momentum, and that proved to be the outcome of the game. Also, Vrabel, like I mentioned earlier, got out coached, but Josh McDaniels, I don't know what kind of offense he was running in this game, but he definitely should have made. It looks like he didn't make any adjustments in the second half. They basically ran the same offense in the second half that they had done in the first half, for the most part, with the exception of those 2 touchdown drives. Also, Stephon Diggs didn't really get too many touches in this game. That's another thing that led to the Patriots struggling on offense. Their strength was all season long finding different receivers. They were hitting Diggs, they were hitting Henry, as well as Stevenson sometimes in the passing game. But they didn't do that. Also, they should have ran more screen passes to loosen up this Seahawks defense. Everything was just straight down the field, straight down the field, straight down the field. And you just can't keep trying to win games like that, because more than likely that secondary is going to pick up on it, and they definitely did, as Nwosu ran it back for a pick 6. Also, another bright spot for the Patriots on offense. Okay, about to get his slide now. I thought I put it in here. My apologies. Was Ramondre Stevenson. He had 7 carries for 23 rushing yards, 0 rushing TDs, but he had 40 receiving TDs and a receiving touchdown. But other than those moments, the Patriots struggled mightily on offense. Also, they definitely need to improve that old line in the offseason because it ended up getting embarrassed. Will Campbell, he definitely got dominated by this Seahawks front seven. It seemed like every time the ball was snapped from center, just about most of that Seahawks front seven were beating the offensive line, and they were definitely getting all kind of pressure on May, and that should never happen if you're an offensive line. You're supposed to be that quarterback's first line of defense, no pun intended. You definitely to make sure he's protected so he'll have time to see the field, get into his reads, and figure out where he's going to throw the ball down the field. But once that ball was snapped, May had no time to throw whatsoever, as he was being hit with all kind of blitzes and pressures from every side of that Seahawks defense. But the Patriots, they're definitely going to be a contender for years to come. Now, we don't know if they'll be back or not because there's no guarantee that you'll get back. Ask Dan Marino. Dan Marino only got to the Super Bowl once in his career and never got back again, which is very sad as an all-time great quarterback he was. But he never ended up getting back. All right, I'm going to take a quick timeout. I'm going to come back with my breakdown on the Black National Anthem performance as the Black National Anthem performance by Coco Jones and Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime show. So don't go away. All right, I'm back, good people. Before I move on, I forgot to make this point earlier that field goal kicker Jason Myers made Super Bowl history by being the first kicker to score most points in the game. He scored 17 points, as he was most of the Seahawks offense throughout this game. So that's the first time a field goal kicker has scored that many points in the Super Bowl. All right. Next thing I want to get to is the performance of Lift Every Voice and Sing, aka the Black National Anthem. It was performed by Coco Jones, Grammy Award winning R&B singer. Plus, she had a group of violinists to back her up that was directed by Fred Bean. Shout out to them. They did a great job of playing the violins for that song. Coco, she gave a remarkable performance of the song. It was very soulful, mood setting, inspirational. That's what the anthem is all about. You know, it's been polarizing the last few years since the Black National Anthem started being performed during NFL games in the Super Bowl, especially by the MAGA crowd. They feel it's used to divide, but it's never used to divide. If you really read the whole song, it's about upliftment, unity, also being together for one goal. Plus, it started out as a poem and wasn't selected as the official Black National Anthem until the 1910s. The Star Spangled Banner didn't become America's national anthem until 1933. So, Lift Every Voice and Sing has been an anthem way longer than the Star Spangled Banner. It became Star Spangled Banner became the national anthem in 1931, not 1933. I apologize. But it has been an anthem less longer than Lift Every Voice and Sing. Plus, if you really read the lyrics to that song, there are references to slavery. That's why there's some people who have issues with that song. But Lift Every Voice and Sing doesn't mean lift every black voice and sing. It means lift every voice, meaning people who have the same common goal of one, unity, as well as fighting for equality, plus who just want freedom, and also people who want to lift their voice and stand against the wrongdoings that are going on, that happen in this country. But also, definitely like how Coco paid homage to the late great Whitney Houston by basing her dress on her tracksuit when Whitney sung the national anthem at Super Bowl 25. Matter of fact, she's the only artist to have her national anthem performance recorded and sold. And definitely like the red, black, and green armband on the dress, as she's paying homage to the African flag, which is when also paying an homage to Black History Month. Coco did an amazing job. Like I said, Coco did an amazing job in her performance. It was very soulful, real laid back, inspirational. and she definitely gave the tone of what the song was really about and did a great job of capturing it. Now, before I wrap up, let me give you my take on Bad Bunny's halftime performance. I like Bad Bunny's halftime performance. Definitely did a great job with the stage presence. Also, he did a pretty good job of getting the crowd hyped up. The dancers, they were definitely on point. Also, I like the whole Super Bowl setup with the whole sugar cane, and then as well as the neighborhood setup the Puerto Rican neighborhood setup with the barbershops, the various businesses to reflect the people of his community. I also like the energy he brings to the stage. Even though he sung all the lyrics in Spanish, which I can't understand Spanish too good, I'm learning it right now. He definitely has some pretty good beats. This was my first time really being exposed to him musically. I've heard of him the last few years. I remember his Super Bowl halftime appearance with Shakira a few years ago, and he did good with that. But this was the first time that he was the solo headliner. And Bad Bunny, he did a pretty good job. Now, do I think as good as Kendrick Lamar's performance last year? No, but it's pretty close. It is definitely pretty close. And also, I liked how he shoehorned the message that he's been spreading against the mistreatment of people here in this country. But he didn't try to be preachy or try to hit anyone over the head. All right, good people, I'm about to get out of here. Thank y'all for joining me on this late night for this Super Bowl recap. I greatly appreciate you taking time out your night to hang out with me for a while. Definitely going to be live again this week. Also, I'm going to be live next Sunday for the NBA All-Star game as it takes place in LA. Can't wait for that. US against the world. I wonder who will win. And once again, I greatly apologize for the technical issue that ended the Super Bowl live show that made us miss out on a whole bunch of fun. And definitely can't wait to do it again next year. And hopefully that definitely doesn't happen again next year. But I greatly appreciate y'all support as well as your comments. Well, except for the haters. The haters can, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Shout out to you. You said happy Sunday. What's up, guys? Well, happy Sunday and Monday to you. Now, if you would like to donate to the channel, you can donate via Cash App or PayPal. There's the Cash App cash tag, $ talking and grubbing. And there's the PayPal email address, talkingandgrubbing@gmail.com. Any donations you give to the channel, I greatly appreciate it. Definitely appreciate everyone's support, past or present. Y'all have helped me keep this channel going. And once again, from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you. All right, I'm about to wrap it up here. Once again, I appreciate y'all for tuning in to the Super Bowl live stream as well as this post-game live. And I'll be live again sometime this week. So until then, y'all have a good one. Love y'all to life. Salute. Y'all be safe. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy your day. Y'all have a safe and blessed week. And once again, a special congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks on winning their second Super Bowl. I'm out. I'll see y'all later.